Welcome back to a KTaNE module tutorial, this time on the module Planet X. So Planet X is the first module I'm covering that's actually a puzzle module. One where you are given clues and you have to figure out the solution. In this case, your goal of the mod is to locate Planet X and submit it using this pointer, which goes through all 12 sectors. There are 12 sectors. There are 12 sectors in the solar system. Each one of them will contain an object listed here. So in any given solar system of 12, there will always be 2 comets, each of which is located at a prime number position. So as you can see in this diagram, which we'll be using to just mark things off because you can highlight it, it's really helpful. Comets will always be in one of the prime numbered sectors, or 2, 3, 5, 7, or 11. And there's 2 of them total. There are 4 total asteroids. Asteroids can always only take 2 shapes. They can either be in 2 groups of 2, because there's 4 total. They will either be in 2 groups of 2, or 1 group of 4, because each asteroid must be adjacent to another asteroid. So say we had a group of 3 and then 1. This one isn't adjacent, so it can't be an asteroid. There are 2 gas clouds total. Each gas cloud must be adjacent to at least 1 empty sector. So if this were the gas cloud, one of these 2, or both, would have to be empty. Truly empty sectors don't have any requirements. And there's 2 of them, usually next to both the gas clouds. There's 1 dwarf planet, and a dwarf planet may not be adjacent to Planet X. So if this were the dwarf planet, neither of these could be Planet X, because they are not compatible, apparently, for some reason. But yeah, that's what all the symbols mean and what they do. So now let's get to actually starting to solve the puzzle and decode the hints. So there are 2 types of hints. There are small sector hints, and there are these big hints down below, which we'll explain afterwards, that are composed of these 6 screens, the first being the hint type, and the other 5 being how to process that hint, like what the hint is saying. So let's start with the small hints. So small hints are always going to be a symbol in this little box next to the sector, and it'll either have an X over it or it won't have an X over it. If it has an X over it, that means that sector cannot contain that object. If it doesn't have an X over it, that means it has to contain that object. And the only way it cannot have an X over it is if you use the reveal sector button. It will tell you exactly what's in the sector, unless it is one of these 2. It will never tell you if it's empty or Planet X. It will always be this, appears empty. This can only show up while you use hints, and it's just basically saying it can be either Planet X or an empty space. We are not sure. It does that so that you cannot just reveal a space and just know it's Planet X immediately. Then the module would be luck-based, and that's just not fun for anyone. So we only actually have 1 small clue this time. There are usually more than 1. There can be up to 5, I think. But in this case, we only have 1, and that's that Sector 10 is not an asteroid. The module will only give you as many hints as you need to be able to solve it without the reveal button. The reveal button is only here to help just simplify it. It's never required, so you can choose to do it without the reveal sector button. I will be showing you with, so that it's just easier to process. So let's get started with decoding the big hints. So like I said, it's always going to be type A. It's always going to be whatever type is in this first box. So in this case, type A is A, which is an adjacent clue. So our format here is Z. Z is always a combination of these last 2 sectors. E will tell you the type, and 1 will be the numerical value. F will be the numerical value. And in this case, E in sector E means exactly F, so exactly 1. B, which is the second box, comet, is adjacent to a asteroid. So exactly 1 comet is adjacent to an asteroid. So now we'll do the same thing here. This is a within clue. Let's see how many we have. You can always have from 2 to 7 big clues, depending on how many the module think you needs. So, in this case, W is a within clue. These are the most common types of clue. They're the ones that'll mostly appear, just because I don't actually know why. That's just how the module generates. Exactly 0, because it says Z, B, comet, is within 3 of a planet X. So that's really important. The ones with planet X are always going to be your friend, because a lot of times there'll be like 2 spaces that are possibly planet X, and the other one is just like a gas cloud or an empty sector. And it'll always tell you, or a dwarf planet, and they'll always tell you which one's going to be planet X based on that. So let's just keep going through the clues. So this one says exactly 1 dwarf planet is within 3 of a comet. Lots of comet clues. We'll look on that later. Yeah, lots of comet clues. 3 or fewer asteroids are within 3 of a comet. Exactly 2 asteroids, if I can spell, are within 4 of a dwarf planet. At least 3 asteroids are within 3 of a gas cloud. And finally, at least 1 asteroid is within 2 of a dwarf planet. So those are all the hints we get, and we have to solve the module from there. So, since the module is talking about a comet a lot of the time, and it's usually just what I like to do anyway, I'm going to query the comet spots, because they have the most amount of options in them. So it's always best to get those out of the way. So I always query 2, I skip 3, because I feel it's always better to look at 5 or 7 or 11 first, so that you can divide the grid up and better find your asteroids and other items. So in this case, let's start by revealing 2. 2 is a comet. That's lucky, because there's only 2 comets out of the set of 5. So now let's query 5. 5 appears empty, so it could either be planet X or it could be an empty space. Let's query 7. 7 is an asteroid. That's helpful, because we know at least 2 asteroids have to be in this group of 4 now. And let's query 11. 11 appears empty, which means these are our 2 comets. And yeah. We know, because asteroids have to be adjacent to another asteroid, that 4 can't be an asteroid, because it wouldn't be adjacent to anything. So now let's start going through our big hints. Exactly 1 comet is adjacent to an asteroid. So since we know this one isn't adjacent to an asteroid, this one is. Which means this is also an asteroid, for them to both be adjacent to each other. Which means the other asteroids are in a group of 2, which means this one can't be an asteroid, because these 2 would be both disconnected. Take the second one. So exactly 0 comets are within 3 of a planet X. So within 3 basically just means up to 3 sectors away. So that means, since this is a comet, that means there can't be a planet X in Sector 4, Sector 5, or Sector 6. Or, if you go the other way, Sector 2, 1, or 12. So in this case, exactly 0 comets are within 3 of a planet X. So that means this can't be planet X, this can't be planet X, and this can't be planet X. Because otherwise that rule would be invalid, which means we have a truly empty sector here now. Exactly 1 dwarf planet is within 3 of a comet. Let's see. So 1, 2, 3. Nope. This can't be, this can't be. So one of these 2 is the dwarf planet. Because this could be, because it's exactly 1 dwarf planet is within 3 of a comet. It doesn't say how many comets, it just says it has to be within 3 of a comet. So it can be this, which would be within 3 for both of these actually, and this, which would be within 3 of this one. So none of these 3 can be dwarf planets. 3 or fewer asteroids are within 3 of a comet. So there are 2 asteroids here. 1, 2, 3. So that doesn't really help that much. In that case, that was probably a clue for if you did use the reveal, because that just says that this one can be an asteroid, which we kind of already knew. Exactly 2 asteroids are within 4 of a dwarf planet. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, so that means this one cannot be the dwarf planet. Because otherwise it would already have 3 and it says exactly 2 are within 4. So this has to be the dwarf planet. Which is a big find. And this also has to be the other asteroid because it's the only spot on the map left. Yeah. So yeah, this is an asteroid. Okay, let's see if we can use the other ones. At least 3 asteroids are within 3 of a gas cloud. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Yeah, that doesn't really help us that much. That clue is not really that useful. At least 1 asteroid is within 2 of a dwarf planet. Well, we knew that already. So, let's see if we can use any of these other ones. Well, it doesn't look like... Oh, actually, yes, we can use this one. Yeah, actually, I missed something with this. And that's Sector 11, because that would be 1, 2, 3. That would be within 3 of a comet. So this can also not be Planet X, and that means this and this are empty sectors. And since gas clouds must always be adjacent to empty sectors, and there are 2 gas clouds, so 1 must be here and 1 must be here. That's just how it works, and that leaves 1 sector left, Sector 9, which has to be Planet X, because otherwise there wouldn't be a Planet X. It's the last sector. So we go to Planet 9 and submit. And we see 9 was in fact Planet X. If you submit a wrong sector, it will reveal what's in that sector with the limitations of the reveal sector. Meaning, if you query an empty spot, it will show as appears empty instead of just being empty. I don't know why it does that. It should, in all reality, just appear empty. But it does that just to keep consistency. I will do one more example, just to make sure you understand how all the logic and stuff works. So let's do another one. Starting with the small clues. 2 can't be a gas cloud. 5 can't be an asteroid. 9 can't be an asteroid. And 11 can't be a dwarf planet. And starting with the big clues, we have exactly 3 asteroids are within 4 of a dwarf planet. 1 or fewer comets are within 2 of a comet. Exactly 1 asteroid is opposite a gas cloud. This is an opposite clue, by the way. It says that ZB is directly opposite C. ZB is directly opposite C. Another within clue. Exactly 2 gas clouds are within 2 of an asteroid. And that's it. That's the only 4 we get. Last time it was 7. This time it's only 4, because we only need 4, apparently. Probably because of how many small clues we got. So let's start querying what I usually do. So 2. Let's just query 2. 2 is the dwarf planet, which is actually a pretty lucky find. Because there's only 1 dwarf planet. They're usually pretty hard to find. That means neither of these can be Planet X as well. Let's query 5, which is a comet. Let's query 7, which is an asteroid. Which means that this can't be a ring of 4, and that's about all we know. 11 is a comet. So we know these are comets. This can't be a comet. And this can't be an asteroid. So we have not that many clues this time, which usually pretty bad, but we'll make it through. So let's start. Exactly 3 asteroids are within 4 of a dwarf planet. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means exactly 3 asteroids are within this ring. And because of that, for there to be exactly 3, that means one of these 2 needs to be a group of 2, and this needs to be an asteroid. Because if this weren't an asteroid, there could never be 3. There could only ever be 4 or 2. So we know that's a group of asteroids, which is always good. 1 or fewer comets are within 2 of a comet. That doesn't really help us because we know exactly where the comets are. Exactly 1 asteroid is opposite a gas cloud. Well, we don't really know where the gas clouds are. So, And both of the gas clouds are within 2 of an asteroid. So, that one's actually going to be pretty helpful. Oh, yeah, I can mark this done. So, okay. So we know from our first clue that gas clouds could be here. Really, right now, it would be best to try to find the other asteroid group. So, This puzzle is a lot harder than the last, it seems. So let's see what we have to work with. So of course these 2 can't be Planet X. So let's try to find our other asteroid group. So these are the 2 asteroid groups we have. So one of these 2 is an asteroid group. So let's just say this is an asteroid group. So if this were an asteroid group, then these 2 would not be asteroids. Which would mean this was either a gas cloud or empty sector. Yeah, it's not leading us very much anywhere, huh? So let's say these 2, actually. So if it said exactly 1 asteroid is opposite a gas cloud, then that would mean one of these 2 is actually a gas cloud. And it says exactly 2 gas clouds are within 2 of an asteroid, which would actually work there. Oh wait, no, if these 2 are asteroids, neither of these could be gas clouds. I'm stupid. Don't worry about it. So these 2 actually cannot be asteroids, because if they were asteroids, then there would be nowhere for the gas clouds to be. So we know those 2 aren't asteroids, and we know these 2 are asteroids, which gets us much, much better in the right track. So let's see. Exactly 1 asteroid is opposite a gas cloud. So this is the only spot that doesn't encompass. Oh yeah, exactly 1 asteroid is opposite a gas cloud. So that means that this has to be a gas cloud, because the other 4 are all opposite a gas cloud. So this has to be one, and this has to be an empty sector. Now it says, exactly 2 gas clouds are within 2 of an asteroid. So this would never be in 2 of an asteroid. This would be in 2, and this would not. So this has to be our other gas cloud. This is an empty sector, and 10 is Planet X. So go to Sector 10, submit. And we have found Planet X. Again, that was a trickier puzzle. It required a bit of bifurcation logic, like what if you put asteroids here? But usually they won't be too terribly difficult like that. They'll usually be a lot simpler to figure out, and the more you do it, the more you'll get better at it. There's not really much more I can teach you besides, well, go on your own logic, just reason stuff out. Think, if I put this here, can this situation that the module's created for me exist? But other than that, that's all for Planet X. Have a good day, and thank you for watching.